I think this reading will grow for me at my end as we work through it. You can see how busy the table looks with all the different cards, the messages and the colours. So we are working through the columns this way. We'll start off with that Judgment card, and the Judgment card traditionally heralds in a feeling of thinking, oh my gosh, I think it's time to change some things in life. And sometimes these moments of thought or awareness or awakening or epiphanies can be brought about through a sudden change or something that's brought to your attention unexpectedly, or is like an epiphany. It creates a new opening for you to go, wow, actually I probably haven't been going the right way or doing the right thing. I often think too that with this card there can be issues to do with your head or your hearing, or hearing what people are saying correctly, or hearing even what you're saying to yourself correctly. So there could be a need to listen to your intuitive voice a little bit more, and to feel into situations that you are wanting answers for, and sort of listen either to more information from other people or from yourself as well. And the one beneath, the all tied up, kind of matches a little bit with the Judgment. The Judgment card can give you the feeling of being tied up and having felt like you're swamped, or not being able to make a correct decision or go in a right direction, and that you may even think, for some of you, oh my God, how did I end up here? How did I get to this place in life? I shouldn't be here. I didn't want to be in this relationship with this person, or I didn't want to end up this way with my health, or I didn't want this job, or I didn't want this extra mortgage. It could be a whole bunch of things like that that make you feel all tied up, and having these sort of epiphany moments of judgment and deciding to make some changes. So the all tied up card really does match the Judgment quite well, and it does have this feeling of, possibly for some of you, you are waiting for an answer to come through regards something in your life, and this could be many different perspectives, such as agreements or legal documents, or the answer about a relationship from someone, or the purchase of something, and you're feeling as if the whole Judgment type feeling, as if there's something really major hanging in the winds about a decision you are making or a direction you are going to go. But just remember too that you do have the ability to calm it all down, think it through logically, and slow the processes. And if the thing that you are wanting or waiting for is kind of dependent on another person's reaction or actions or decisions, then you just have to allow that correct time for it to take place. You can impart some positive affirmations or some really positive communication into the situation if you think that will also help. Now at the very bottom here we have connect with nature, and it says you're rejuvenated and inspired by spending times outdoors. So it sounds to me as though if any of you are feeling this kind of tension or anxiety or stress as we're moving into February, and a lot of this could be totally understandable given the energies of the month of January that we've just been through, and the eclipse on the 31st. January set the tone pretty much for the whole year, so it might have set quite a few people into a headspin about a lot of things, like almost panicking them about getting things ready for the year, or having the right positions or systems in place, or ability to achieve the goals they've set out, or goals that are being put on them by others. So they're sort of suggesting to you, if you went outdoors a little bit more, and Taurians, you are the earth sign energy. So I think that you do get a lot more of your calming, nurtured energy back from being close to nature. They're suggesting to you, do that a little bit more, guys. If you can, get outside and feel at one with nature, and you will get a recharge of energy boost coming through. So that's quite positive as well. Now we're coming to the second row with the King of Rods, the second chakra, Archangel Ariel, and the dietary change. Now it was quite funny that no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't stop the reversals coming in. So we were either going to be dealing with the other cards reversed, or the ones that turned up reversed. So that does tell me, because this is actually a more or less a tarot deck, They can read reversals into it. So it does tell me that there is something in your reading for the month that is kind of saying to you there are a few glitches around some of the things that you are working on or are presenting to you in the month. So it's up to you how you wish to address these little glitches, to not be worried about them, but perhaps to pay a little bit more focus and attention on them and then get them smoothed out. You know, when you go for a massage or you're going to physiotherapy and you've got a sore muscle or something, what does the physiotherapist do to you? They really push and make it so painful on that sore spot because they're trying to ease the tension out and smooth the muscle back out. So when you see the reversed cards, in essence, that's exactly what is happening. There is a sort of a block there that you need to focus on a little bit more. So for the reversals that are here, I just ask you to ponder upon that for the month yourselves and see what it might mean to you personally and how you can perhaps put a bit more pressure on them to smooth them out somehow. So coming back to your King of Rods, this could be a person coming into your life who could be a fire sign energy or a fire rising sign. He could very much be someone who's kind of actually, for some of you, this could be like the physiotherapist, funnily enough, or a doctor, or someone who you go to who is giving you some sort of advice or helping you, like physically. He could be a masseuse or a Reiki healer or a counsellor. He could be anything along those lines. I think he might be here to help provide you with these pieces of information very much about your physical body. He could also be removed from the two bottom cards a little bit more, and he could just be someone who is around you, perhaps in a situation where the sacral chakra and the dietary change, if you implemented those when he's around, so perhaps he's a boss at work, for instance, if you implement these things here connected with this too, you may find yourself with more energy and you may find your creative juices more fired up and you might be more alive and wired and ready for more creativity to come into your life, whether it be around your work or your passions or your hobbies or your financial interests or even just your relationships. This whole row here, the second one, has a feel to me about changing a few things in your physical and emotional state that will allow more creativity and passion to flow back into your life. And we will look at this one, the reversed sacral chakra, which is the second chakra, the orange glowing one. And of course we have a lot of orange in this line as well, sort of glowing quite orangey. The sacral chakra is where we find our profound creative juices, if you like, coming from. It's also the lower part of our body around our hips, thighs, bowel, and our intimate sex zone areas for both sexes. So sometimes there can be a block in there, or sometimes there can be a need for going and getting things checked in that part of our bodies. So whether it's irritable bowel syndrome or something like a stomach issue or inflammation, or whether or not some of you need to have your, especially for the ladies, anything checked along the areas of your female hormonal cycles or your menstruation cycles, or even your actual internal pieces, like ovaries that could have eggs or pain inside them. This can be any of those messages as well that may need treatment or therapy. And then we come to the bottom one, which is fairly obvious. It says improve your diet and your life will also improve. Look, I'm sure it's such an easy message, but it probably means the most to all of us. We could all do with that card turning up in our readings. The funny thing about diet is our food over the years has changed very, very quickly into becoming relatively toxic. I know we can sort of get more organic food, which is a really good start, a really good place to start actually. We have both the genetically engineered foodstuffs coming into our food line, probably more so up in the Northern Hemisphere and for places through Europe and America and perhaps Australia. New Zealand doesn't have quite so much of that. But what we do have is a huge amount of toxins being sprayed on nearly every single piece of our food. And one of those is known as glyphosate. And it was actually administered through the World Health Organization to be found to be a carcinogenic. So a lot of our foods are very, very toxic for us. So cleansing our body out often and getting rid of these cancerous, carcinogenic toxins in our body would be beneficial to every single one of us. So let's carry on. I don't want to get stuck there and move up here to the it's the 8. It's the 8 of Pentacles, and I always say 7 originally. The 8 of Pentacles is a lovely card. It often is talking about money, and it's often talking about the fact that you've worked hard to accrue what you've got and that you are plodding along at a nice rate. And this can also be talking about things such as your investments, if you've put money away perhaps somewhere in shares or in bank accounts, or whether you've loaned some money out. It generally bodes quite well as a positive card. However, the one beneath it, the envy card, often tells us that we forget about the fact that we are coming along nicely in life and that we have the ability to earn the wealth and the riches that we desire, especially if we put our minds to it and if we put some hard work behind it. Not that many people get rich for no effort or no investment time or no knowledge behind them. So the cards are kind of coming together quite intrinsically to say, don't forget about your ability to earn your finances. Don't forget about the way you could choose to be extending them, whether it be through investment or whether it be through prudent savings even. This card here, envy, she's looking beyond into the background where all this golden city and what appears to be wonderful, magical life happening, and she feels like, oh, I think I want that. But she forgets that she already has a great deal of wealth herself. So don't look beyond at what you've got and forget how valuable and how special and how treasured it is, because you've made it. You've got to where you have in life. It's your hard work that gets you there. But if we keep looking forward and we keep looking at other people's wealth or what they've established, envy is the very thing that cuts us off from receiving more. So envy is one of the very worst energies to ever be allowing time and emotion for. It is very disabling and it prevents more wealth from coming your way, because all you see is others with wealth, and that's what the universe starts delivering. It delivers those other people more wealth, which is only going to make you even more envious and cross. So focus on your own ability, particularly at this point, to earn money. So if some of you have had money problems and you haven't been able to get a job, or you're struggling financially, or you haven't got savings or investments behind you, they're telling you very strongly, don't give up, keep going, because they've given you a timeline here, and they're saying in the spring, your desires fully manifest as the flowers begin to bloom. So there's something here about possibly if you'd been desperate to get a job, or if you have to pay off a loan, or if you needed something to come into your life in the financial manner, it appears that you are being told to keep working, keep the hard graft going, don't give up, keep applying for jobs, or keep paying back little bit by little bit, because by springtime things will rally around and will appear to fall into place much better. Remember, spring for each hemisphere, depending on whether you're northern or southern. We come to this last line, and again I find it quite intriguing with the Fool upright and then the Magician and the Mirror reversed. So the Fool is all about your own journey in life and about claiming that journey and about claiming your independence and breaking free of something that you have felt was restrictive. And what did we start over here with? The Judgment card, which is often about feeling totally restricted and understanding that you need to move on. So you have lots of messages here about moving on into something new. Now, this doesn't have to be physical. It doesn't have to be relationships. This can be your primordial own intimate feeling with life and your soul and who you are. This can be like the Wheel of Fortune almost, as it moves on to each next portion of life as you grow and become wider and more connected to the cosmos. The Fool can be suggestive of saying that you are going out on a new journey without fully being aware of possibilities that you could either A, be missing out on, or B, be rushing headlong into without doing enough research or checking the situations carefully. I personally love the Fool card because I often view it as a very spiritual growth point and the opportunity to change direction in your life, usually in my perspective for the better. I do think it tends to say we're leaving something behind. I also notice in the Fool card there is often something about a dog or a pet. So some of you may have issues with your pets, or you may be getting a new pet in your home, or one may be leaving your home for one reason or another. The Magician is also another one of the most magical cards in the entire deck. He has numbered it as number 53 or 8 here, so it's a different numbering system. He has the illuminated 8, the ever-ending circle of life on top of the Magician's head. The Magician also holds a mirror, which is also representative of reflecting back our energies that we put out, and if they are positive, magical, alchemical energies, then they were going to manifest twice as much. Now, given that it turned up reversed, we have to think a little bit here that there's still a little bit of something in a blockage around this idea or concept of you being able to magically transform your life or something in it. You still have doubts, or you're still worried about something, or you're still not completely open to the opportunities coming. You maybe aren't seeing them. So it's about knowing when something comes along which is good for you, or knowing when you need to move away from something and move in a new direction. I feel there's a lot in this reading about quite large changes for a lot of Taurians at many levels, both the physical, because we've seen that here in this in particular, and at a deeper level at the spiritual as well. So I think it will take time for this to all emerge. This is kind of like the beginning of the year, and we will see a lot of these transitions come through as the year moves through. But if you look at the bottom card down here, it says admit your true feelings to yourself, which in real terms is the Fool with an extended message. It says be honest with yourself. Only you know what it is that you truly desire. So both the top card and the bottom card are talking again about you and what it is you need to do and where you need to head. So perhaps the lunar eclipses and all the new moons have had quite a powerful effect on you, and you are feeling a bit discombobulated, or a bit, like you want change. You just want some change and some inspiration and some like zing in your life at the moment. You can get it. It's in these cards. It's all there. You have to just know how to release it and how to feel into the passion and the excitement and the magic that's there if you wish to look for it, Taurians.